The first human ship reached the edge of the silent region without warning. Space there was calm in a strange way, as if sound itself had been swallowed. Stars looked dull, and light bent softly around an object that should not have been there. At the center of this quiet place floated the structure later named the Galactic Keyhole. It was not large compared to planets or stations, but it felt heavy to the mind. It looked like a ring made of dark metal, broken in places, with a hollow center that showed nothing behind it. No stars. No darkness. Just absence. On the research ship Horizon Dawn, scientists watched in silence. Mark Hill stood near the main screen. He was a calm man with tired eyes and slow movements. He had studied ruins on dead worlds before, but this felt different. This was not a ruin left by war or time. This was something carefully placed. Laura Bennett stood beside him, holding a data tablet with shaking hands. She tried to hide it, but Mark noticed. Laura was known for her sharp thinking and steady nerves. If she was nervous, there was a reason. The readings don't make sense, Laura said softly. No radiation. No power source. But it's active. Mark nodded. Like it's waiting. They moved closer, slowly. No alarms sounded. No weapons powered up. The ship's systems worked normally, but the closer they got, the more the crew felt watched. Far away beyond human space, the Galactic Council watched too. The council chamber was filled with beings of many shapes and sizes. Some had ruled the galaxy for millions of years. They had seen stars born and die. They had built laws to control chaos and guide younger species. When the image of the keyhole appeared in the chamber, a deep silence fell. It has been found, one elder said. It should not be possible, another replied. The location was erased. But humans found it, said a third voice, cold and sharp. Fear moved through the chamber, though none spoke the word. The keyhole had been sealed long ago. Not because it was broken, but because it worked too well. It could open paths between possible futures. It could show outcomes. It could bend events slightly, just enough to change everything. The ancient builders had believed in control. They had tried to remove choice from the galaxy, to make everything predictable. When they failed, they sealed the keyhole and erased themselves. The council had agreed to never touch it again. Now humans had arrived. Back on the Horizon Dawn, Laura leaned closer to the screen. Symbols appeared on the surface of the structure, faint and slow, like breathing. It's reacting to us, she said. Or to thinking beings, Mark replied. Not just humans. Laura frowned. Then why now? This thing has been here for ages. Mark did not answer right away. He remembered reports about humans in ancient systems. Old machines waking up. Dead networks responding. Humans did not force systems to obey. They questioned them. They tested them. They made mistakes and learned. Sometimes that was enough. A soft vibration passed through the ship. Not a warning. More like a signal. The crew froze. It's not an attack, Laura said quickly, reading the data. It's an invitation. Mark felt his chest tighten. To what? We don't know. Far away, the council reacted. They must be stopped, one member said. Send a warning. They won't listen, another replied. Humans never do. They listen, said an elder quietly. They just choose. That word again. Choice. It was why the keyhole had been sealed. Choice was messy. Choice created chaos. Choice broke prediction. The council activated long-range communication. A message was sent toward Earth, carrying fear wrapped in calm words. On the Horizon Dawn, the message arrived moments later. Mark read it slowly. Laura read it too. They're telling us to leave, she said. Immediately. And not to touch anything, Mark added. Laura looked back at the keyhole. The symbols were brighter now. They're afraid, she said. Yes, Mark agreed. That worries me. The crew waited for orders from Earth. They did not rush. They did not panic. They talked. They argued. They listed risks and hopes. No one suggested using weapons. Laura ran another scan. It's old, she said. Older than anything we've seen. But it's not dead. It's careful. Mark smiled slightly. Like us. The keyhole pulsed once, gently. In the council chamber, alarms began to sound. The keyhole is responding, a voice cried. To human presence, another said. Just as the records warned. The elders remembered the ancient words carved into forgotten stone. Beware the species that chooses without command. Humans were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most advanced. But they asked questions even when told not to. They touched what others sealed. And they did not fear choice. As the Horizon Dawn drifted closer, Mark Hill and Laura Bennett stood together, unaware that the galaxy had already begun to change. The keyhole had been found, and it was awake. The warning reached Earth faster than any human ship could travel. It did not come with threats or weapons. It came wrapped in careful words and ancient authority. The alien envoys appeared as light and sound in the United Earth Council chamber. Their shapes were calm and distant, their voices smooth and controlled. They spoke as beings who were used to being obeyed. The galactic keyhole must never be used, the lead envoy said. It was sealed for a reason. Leaders, scientists, and observers listened in silence. The envoy continued. The keyhole can change reality paths. It can bend outcomes. It breaks prediction systems that hold the galaxy together. Entire civilizations were lost trying to control it. The room stayed quiet but not empty. Screens filled with data. Translators adjusted tones. Human minds began working. On the research station orbiting the keyhole, engineer Daniel Reed leaned back in his chair. He was a practical man, more comfortable with tools than speeches. He watched the message feed with narrowed eyes. "They're scared," he said. Across from him, analyst Emma Collins tapped notes into her console. She was younger, quick-minded, and known for asking uncomfortable questions. "They're not lying," she replied. "But they're also not telling everything." Daniel glanced at her. "What makes you say that?" Emma pointed at the data stream from the keyhole. "Look at the response curves. Every time we approach slowly, it stabilizes. When we pull back, it quiets down. No spikes. No threats." Daniel nodded. "It's calm around us." "That's not how a dangerous system usually behaves," Emma said. Back on Earth, the envoys finished their warning. "For the safety of all," the lead envoy said, "you must leave the keyhole untouched. Trust the wisdom of those who came before you." A human representative stood. He did not raise his voice. "We hear your warning," he said. "But we have questions." The envoys paused. That alone was unusual. "What questions?" one asked. "What exactly failed?" the human asked. "Was it the keyhole or how it was used?" The chamber shifted. The envoys exchanged silent signals. "The distinction is irrelevant," the lead envoy said. "To us it is not," the human replied. More questions followed. How long had the keyhole existed? Who built it? Why was it sealed instead of destroyed? Why did it still function? The envoys answered some. They avoided others. They spoke of prediction networks that collapsed, of futures that split too many ways, of chaos spreading where certainty once ruled. They did not speak of choice. On the station, Daniel floated closer to the observation window. The keyhole hung in space, silent and steady. "It hasn't reacted once to their message," he said. Emma checked the logs. "It reacts to proximity, to intent, not to fear." Daniel frowned. "How can you tell intent?" Emma hesitated. "I don't know, but it feels like it does." She adjusted a sensor, careful and slow. The keyhole responded with a soft change in light, almost like acknowledgement. Daniel let out a low breath. "That thing is listening." On Earth, the meeting ended without agreement. Humans did not promise obedience. They promised caution. The envoys left uneasy. "They do not submit," one said. "They never do," another replied. "They will break the balance," a third warned. "Or reveal it," an elder voice answered. Back at the station, a new message arrived. Orders from Earth were clear. "Observe. Do not activate. Learn." Daniel smiled faintly. "That's more like us." Emma nodded. "We don't rush gods. We study them." Time passed slowly. The station crew worked in shifts. No one touched the keyhole directly. No one tried to force it open. They talked. They argued. They tested small theories. Emma noticed something strange. "When different people are near it," she said, "the response changes. Not stronger or weaker. Just different." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Like it's adjusting." "Or listening," Emma said again. She ran a simple test. 2 crew members approached the observation window. One was tense, afraid. The other was calm and curious. The readings shifted gently toward the calmer pattern. Emma's hands trembled. "It mirrors us." Daniel swallowed. "That explains everything." Far away, the Galactic Council received updates. "The humans have not activated the keyhole," a scout reported. "But they remain," another said. "And the keyhole responds," the scout added. The chamber grew cold. "It was designed to remove choice," one elder said slowly. "But humans thrive on it. That is why the builders failed," another whispered. "They tried to control the future. Humans live inside it." On the station, Emma sat quietly, staring at the data. If this thing reacts to choice, she said, then using force would be the worst mistake. Daniel nodded. Good thing force isn't our first answer. Emma smiled faintly. Or our second. The keyhole pulsed once, steady and calm. It did not open. It did not close. It waited. And across the galaxy, ancient beings began to understand why the keyhole had never truly been sealed. It had only been waiting for someone who would listen instead of command. The decision was not easy and it was not fast. After weeks of watching, measuring, and arguing, Earth allowed a single test. It came with strict rules. No forced activation. No energy spikes. No attempts to open the keyhole fully. The goal was simple: observe a response, nothing more. Alien observers were present through remote links. They did not trust humans, but they feared ignorance more. On the station, the crew gathered in quiet tension. Daniel Reed stood at the control panel, hands steady. Emma Collins watched the data streams, her eyes sharp but calm. Mark Hill and Laura Bennett observed from the science deck, speaking softly with other researchers. Remember, Daniel said, we stop the moment anything spikes. Emma nodded. Already set. Autocut is active. The keyhole floated ahead of them unchanged. Dark metal. Empty center. Silent. Beginning minimal interaction, Daniel said. He did not press a button. He only adjusted the field around the keyhole, gentle enough that it barely counted as touch. For a moment nothing happened. Then the space inside the ring shifted. It did not open like a door. It deepened, like looking into water that suddenly became very clear. Images appeared. Not pictures. Not videos. Possibilities. The observers gasped. Alien prediction systems lit up instantly. Their models began to calculate outcomes, branching futures, expected paths. The keyhole showed a human ship entering deeper space. Another image showed Earth forming alliances. Another showed conflict avoided, then conflict delayed, then conflict changed. These are future paths, an alien voice said, tense. Exactly as recorded. But then something went wrong. The human actions in the images changed. A ship meant to turn left turned right instead. A leader expected to choose force chose delay. A crew predicted to panic stopped, argued, and voted. The model stuttered. No, an alien analyst said. That path should collapse. Instead it split again. Emma leaned forward. The futures are adjusting in real time. That's impossible, another alien voice snapped. Outcomes are fixed once observed. Mark shook his head. Not for us. On the screen, a future showed humans gaining great power from the keyhole. Energy beyond measure. Control over space itself. The alien observers reacted instantly. Terminate the test, one ordered. That future leads to instability. Daniel hesitated. He looked at Emma. That's not the only future, she said quietly. She adjusted the display. The image shifted. Now it showed humans walking away from the keyhole, sealing it, leaving knowledge behind. The alien systems froze. That future should not exist, an elder voice said. But it does, Laura replied. The keyhole pulsed, brighter now, but not violently. Come. Steady. Inside the images, humans argued. Some wanted power. Some wanted safety. Some wanted to destroy the keyhole. No single voice won. The futures did not collapse into one outcome. They stayed open. The alien models began to fail. Warnings filled their systems. Prediction confidence dropped to zero. This cannot be allowed, an alien shouted. Too many unknowns. On the station, alarms rang, not from danger but from data overload. Emma's hands moved fast. The keyhole isn't choosing a future, she said. It's showing all of them. And we're not locking into any, Daniel added. The alien observers panicked. Their civilizations were built on prediction. On knowing what would happen next. On removing uncertainty. Humans were breaking that simply by existing. Shut it down, an alien commander ordered. Before it destabilizes everything. Daniel looked at the readouts. Power levels were rising but slowly. Controlled. We can push further, one human scientist said. We could learn so much. Mark turned to him. Or lose everything. The room filled with voices. Arguments broke out. Power versus risk. Knowledge versus safety. No one shouted orders. Emma watched the keyhole closely. It's responding to the debate, she said. The more divided we are, the more unstable it gets. Daniel made a decision. We stop, he said. Some protested. Others nodded in relief. He reduced the interaction field. The images faded. The keyhole dimmed. The alarms stopped. Silence returned. Across the galaxy, alien systems continued to fail. Their models could not recover. Too many paths remained open. The test was over. You should have taken the power, an alien envoy said bitterly. You don't understand what you refused. Mark answered calmly. We understand choice. Laura added, and restraint. The alien voices fell quiet. They had seen many species reach for control the moment it was offered. None had stepped back willingly. On the station, the crew sat exhausted but calm. Emma leaned back. Did you notice? She asked. Daniel looked at her. What? The keyhole didn't resist when we stopped. It didn't punish us. Mark smiled faintly. It respected the choice. Far away, the Galactic Council gathered again. The test confirms the ancient warning, an elder said. Humans cannot be predicted. They are dangerous, another replied. Yes, the elder said softly. Not because they seek power, but because they can refuse it. The records updated automatically. For the first time in millions of years, a category changed. Humans were no longer listed as a developing species. They were listed as an unknown variable. And the keyhole, once feared as a weapon, now waited quietly, aware that the ones who touched it did not wish to own it. The demand came without delay. The Galactic Council spoke with one voice this time, and it was sharp with fear. The galactic keyhole must be shut down forever, the message said. Seal it. Destroy access. Leave the region. This is not a request. On Earth, the words were heard, studied, and argued over. No one dismissed them. No one obeyed them blindly. On the station near the keyhole, the mood changed. Daniel Reed read the message in silence. Emma Collins stood beside him, her arms crossed. They're afraid we'll lose control, Emma said. Daniel shook his head. They're afraid we'll keep choosing. Before any decision was made, the keyhole reacted. Not violently at first. A low vibration spread through the station. Lights flickered. Gravity shifted slightly, enough to make people grab rails. Energy spike, a technician called out. Not from us. The keyhole pulsed, brighter than before. Emma's eyes widened. It's responding to tension. To pressure. As alien monitoring systems increased their scans, their interference pushed the ancient structure out of balance. Warnings filled the station. Structural stress rising, someone shouted. Then the station shook hard. Evacuation protocol, Daniel ordered, calm but firm. Now. James Walker was already moving. He was a pilot, not a commander. He did not wait for instructions to repeat. He saw the danger and acted. His shuttle was one of the closest to the station's outer docks. As alarms rang, he guided it in smoothly, ignoring shouted voices and overlapping signals. Docking in 30 seconds, he said, steady. Anyone near Bay 3 move? People moved because his voice was clear, not because it was loud. Inside the station, corridors filled with controlled chaos. No one trampled. No one panicked. James opened his shuttle doors early, adjusting for the drifting gravity. He pulled 2 injured technicians inside and secured them himself. Another shockwave hit. Panels cracked. A section of the station lost power. James did not ask permission. He launched early, stabilizing his craft and holding position nearby. One shuttle clear, he reported. I can take more. Others followed his lead. Not orders. Examples. The evacuation became a pattern of quick choices. One crew rerouted power without approval. Another sealed a section to save the rest. No central command controlled it. It worked anyway. Watching from afar, the alien observers were stunned. There is no single authority, one said. They are improvising, another replied. This should be chaos. But it was not. The keyhole flared once more, then began to settle. Emma saw it first. The more we focus on saving each other, she said, breathless, the more it stabilizes. Daniel made the final call. We limit it, he said. No full access. No pressure. We choose boundaries. He sent the decision to Earth. Earth agreed. Not because the Council demanded it. Because it was right. The last shuttle pulled away. James Walker watched the station from his cockpit as it drifted back into balance. No one cheered. No one claimed victory. The keyhole dimmed, calm again. The Galactic Council fell silent. They chose restraint, an elder said slowly. They disobeyed us, another snapped. They protected the galaxy, the elder replied. And they did not ask permission. For the first time, the Council understood the truth. Humans could not be controlled by fear. They would always choose. And that was what made them dangerous. And trustworthy. The work took time and it was done quietly. There were no speeches, no flags, and no claim of victory. Human ships returned to the region around the galactic keyhole with one clear purpose: to seal it without harming it. Laura Bennett watched from the observation deck as the final preparations began. The station was almost empty now. Only a small crew remained, people chosen not for rank but for patience. The keyhole floated where it always had, unchanged in shape, calm in presence. It no longer pulsed with light or showed hidden paths. It simply existed. Laura remembered the first day she saw it. How heavy it had felt. How awake. Now it felt like something resting. Daniel Reed coordinated the sealing process. He did not command. He listened. Every step was checked, debated, and agreed upon. No force fields were pushed too hard. No systems were rushed. Emma Collins monitored the response patterns. "It's accepting the seal," she said softly. No resistance. Laura let out a slow breath she did not know she was holding. The seal was not a lock. It was a limit. A boundary placed by choice. As the final field settled, the keyhole dimmed, not in defeat but in understanding. The empty center darkened until it reflected the stars behind it once more. Far beyond human space, deep within forgotten networks, the ancient system awakened. It had no eyes, no voice, but it remembered. Records updated automatically, written in patterns older than language. Species designation, human. Status, unpredictable variable. Note added, chooses restraint when power is available. The system paused as if considering. Probability of galactic collapse, reduced. On the human ships, no one knew this had happened. They were too busy finishing their work. One by one, systems powered down. Tools were stored. The station prepared for abandonment. Laura stood alone at the viewport as the last shuttle docked. She rested a hand against the glass. The keyhole was silent now. Not asleep. Not dead. Waiting. She did not feel fear. She felt trust. The shuttle doors closed. Engines ignited. As the station drifted away, Laura looked back one last time. The galactic keyhole grew smaller, then faded into the stars. The galaxy did not end. Trade routes reopened. Councils argued. Worlds turned in their orbits. Life continued, mostly unaware of how close everything had come to change. But something was different. The ancient civilizations had believed the future must be controlled. Humans had shown it could be chosen. The records would remember that. And somewhere deep in space, a sealed door remained, not as a warning but as a reminder. Power mattered less than the wisdom to walk away. And the galaxy moved on, quietly changed by a species that chose wisely.